Alright, good morning. Today we're looking at a redesign of one of my older ship designs called the Ursa Major. I'm calling this variant the Canus Major. It's essentially the same cylindrical ship design in the middle, but I've extended out the pontoons to make them look more like wings. And I know it's a spaceship and it doesn't matter, but I just want it to be more aesthetically pleasing. But I think I've increased the hab space to something like, I don't know, 20 by 1 or 22 by 1 habs I can cram in there. And I did keep the weapons inside the ship. This is not a modded ship. You don't need to have mods, but you can stick the guns anywhere inside the structure of the ship, and they'll just fire straight through the ship into the, wherever the enemies are. And it doesn't matter. As long as they're mounted properly, inside the ship somewhere. One caveat to that is don't put it behind the cockpit because it just fires through you as the pilot, and it'll still work, but it's distracting. So just don't have any guns in line directly behind the cockpit. Put them to the left or to the right, or above or below, and it works just fine. From inside the cockpit, you can't tell the difference anyways. But other than that, it's a big ship. I've hit the module limit, so I can't add anything else to it. And it's almost at the length limit. I think it's like 38 meters from the center line. I think 40 is the max. But other than that, I'm really happy with this design. Also, I'm ashamed to admit that for the first time after all these years and all these dozens of ship builds, I used a flip glitch, or actually I used a couple of them for the first time. I used a flip glitch to cram this sensor package in there. I just liked the way it really looked. And the same thing for these side panels here. These braking thrusters barely clipped into, I mean barely, but it wouldn't let me fit these side panels in, and without them you'd just be looking at the sides of the grav drive and the reactor. And like I said, I wanted this to be a very clean ship with no external hardpoints showing, and so I went ahead and flipped those in there, and it works just fine. So it is what it is. I guess I finally joined the dark side. You know what, let's go inside first. So inside the ship is the very deck one. There's 5 decks total. Is just nothing but this workshop, and that's because the entire floor of the ship is nothing but Stroud landing gears because the ship is so heavy. I could have used different gears with more landing thrust. Like I said, I really like the look of the Stroud landing gears because they slope off to the edges, and it's just more aesthetically pleasing.
I
Excuse
learned
me, if
that
you look,
back on
how did
Earth,
you get inside
people
so
used to
fast?
use the stars to navigate. That's so cool.
So anyways, you can look up
But I
straight
guess
up,
it
and it's
only worked
just
because they
a
just lived
ladder
on
all the way
one
to the
planet.
top, all
And
5
that
decks.
sounds boring.
It was kind of a pain in the ass to get it to work like that, but it took some tinkering with. Excuse me. So deck 2 is the hab deck where most of the life support is, or living quarters are. I've got the brig over on this side, and on the other side I've got a 2x2 living quarters. So just a nice place for the crew to hang out, make fun of the prisoners. Deck 3 is the mess hall, and behind the mess hall I have a cargo deck, or a cargo hall. I haven't put anything in it yet. Looks like we're gonna go ice skating in here. And then
you're handling this whole captain thing really well.
that goes to the cargo deck too. When you make them empty, it just, wherever a door can be, there will be a door there. So that's why there's 3 doors. Deck 4 comes up into the battle bridge, and I think this direction goes, yes, to the towards after the ship. This is the computer core, and then off to the either sides of the core you have the infirmary and science labs. And then next to the battle bridge here for the crew, If they need to get access to weapons real quick, they can. I put an armory on the side. And then this takes us to the personal captain's quarters, or yeah, captain's quarters. And then deck 5 is just this really long tunnel, and it's the engineering bay all the way to the back. And then some living quarters up here. So you have plenty of passenger space. I don't know what the total is, but it's more than any mission will call for. Anyways, let me get out of here. I'll take the ship apart, show you what's oops, what's holding. You gotta make sure you hit your boosts right before you hit the ground and you break your ankles.
We're asking everyone to take. Sure, have at it.
This is the ship, Ursa Major. As you can see, like given it a more traditional appearance. Before, these pylons were directly up against the sides of the ship, and there was a lot of other little differences. Like I could have used bigger or better gears and added some, like at least another 2x1 hab down here. But like I said, I like the sloped look, oops, of these Stroud gears. It really looks nice. Instead of having a hard point showing, I did fail actually on right here on the sides, because like I've hit the. Let me see something I can actually buy here. Okay. So you can see I'm trying to add just one item and it just says I've hit the module limit. Anyways, originally I had 3 of these Stroud cowlings here, and like I said, I couldn't make it work because I was just running out of structural pieces to put on the ship, so I had to switch it out for this cowling 3 LA, and it's got this stupid little piece right here that sticks out so you can mount stuff on it. I didn't want to have that on there, but whatever. There's nothing I can do about it at this point. So as far as the engines in the back, I'm using the SAL 6830s, the most powerful engines in the game. And I didn't want to just tack them on to the rear like I usually do and just have them sticking out the back of the ship. Like I wanted to be a little more artsy with it this time. So I tried to like fold them in, like have a nice flow to it where they're like kind of integrated into the ship instead of just sticking out the back of it. And this is what I came up with. Originally I had these were like this up here, but I decided to put these guns inside down on this end, and I needed something to cover that up, so I put the cargo holds right there. I thought that looked alright. Like I said, 39 meters by 29 meters from the center point, and most powerful weapons, shield 1600, 6260 cargo that I was able to squeeze in there, max crew of 10, 30 light year jump range, 100 mobility, and top speed for any class C is going to be 130. The mass came out at 4,274, and the max that you can have before the mobility drops is 4,275, so I came out I guess it's ton of mass under the limit. And so that's usually what I go for. Mass out get as much mass as I can, but the mobility has to stay at 100. I don't like to build ships with less than 100 mobility. So, as you can see here, I got the forward sensor, and now if I try to put it back in there, it won't fit. And also I have a skeg here with, or a spine here with 2 guns. So whatever I put in there has to have an attach point on the top to make those guns, something for them to sit on. So what you have to do is you have to take these 2 pieces off, stick that in there like that, and then hook that up and just Z to flip, then escape, oops, and then it'll fit in there, and do the same thing. Flip, escape, and then it'll fit in there. And now see the ship says nominal. And I did the same thing with this piece, this piece, this piece, and this piece right there. So first flip glitch I've ever used, and like I said, it's sad, but I don't know. I don't know why, but I really like the way that these, I know they're thrusters, but in my mind they look like guns. And I just thought that looked really cool there. And they fit in pretty nice. And so anyways, that's the way I decided to go with it. Anyways, I'll take this thing apart, and I'll probably screw up trying to put it all back together because it's kind of complicated inside. But we'll see what we get here. All right, give me a second. All right, I got this thing disassembled mostly. I'm going to put this thing back together layer by layer or deck by deck so I can kind of keep track of it. Otherwise, I'm going to screw it up. But deck 1 is mostly landing gears, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's 11 of these. Oh, that's not landing. Yeah, it is. Yeah, 11 landing gears. The Accu Lander 11. You get them from Stroud Eklund, and have them so that they're, they can come out. They can be like that. They can go to the right, or they can go to the left. So just make sure that the sloped edges are pointing towards the outside. And then the ones in the center are in center mode. These two. Excuse me, these three. On top of that, or excuse me, on the front of that, we're going to have 3 of these Deimos bellies. And they're 4, and they can go forwards or backwards. So you're going to use 3 of them, and they're 4. 3 in the rear, so 6 total. I guess before we get too far, let me talk about the weapons. We're using, what is it, 3 or no, 4 of the PB, or excuse me, Disruptor 3340 alpha beams. You're going to be using 4 of those, 4 of the PB 300 alpha beams, and 3 of these Obliterator 250 MeV alpha beams. And then you'll need a, if you have it, you can put a conduction grid right there. Like I said, I internalized all the weapons because I wanted the ship to look nice and slick on the outside. And like I said, this is a vanilla design, and even without mods, like I said, the guns just shoot through the hull, and it's not an issue. Okay. So you're going to have a Stroud workshop in the middle, and a 100 DP. All right, and a 100 DP slim docker on the bottom. And like I said, you're going to surround it by these Aculander 11 landing gears, 11 of them. And then if you look on the bottom, you see all these landing gears, except right here is the Stroud Cowling 11, or excuse me, on this side is the Stability Pro landing bay. That's the loader. I picked that because it looks just like the landing gears, but I didn't want it to be asymmetric where you have one extra gear on this side, because this is not a landing gear, it's just the bay. There's nothing sticking out the bottom of it. So I used a Stroud Cowling 1LA on the other side to, because it's the same shape. So that's deck 1. Like I said, the only habitable hab down here is that Stroud Workshop 2x1. Deck 2 be this thing right here. Yes. Yeah, sorry, I got to think about it. So on one side, you're going to have a 2x2 Stroud living quarters. That'll look like that. And these hang out. This is what the wings are going to attach to. And on the other side, the Stroud Brig 2x2. And in the middle, a Stroud all-in-one berth 3x1. And then 2 of these Galleon S203 cargo holds will go in just like this. And then Stroud companionway. These companionways are how you get the ladder to go all the way up to the top without turning it into a rat maze. Just if you just try to put halves everywhere, it'll have you go in here, go into the side thing, up a deck to the right, up this way, up a ladder. It just turns into, it just gets silly real quick. Then our Taio forward sensor is going to hook up right there. And oh, by the way, to hook up all these guns, we're going to be using Deimos Spine Cs. And we're going to put another one right there. So looking from the sides, you have 3 weapons mounts on deck 1. Deck 2 has 1 weapons mount right on top of the sensor package. I can't hook these up yet because, well, I guess I could. Flip it, escape. Same thing on this side. Flip it, escape, and yep, now it's all one piece. So you got to leave these 2 impressions here for the gamma, the grav drive and the reactor. So let's see. These are going to go up here on top of these Deimos belly apps. These are the 2 more cargo S203 holds. They're going to be what the engines are sitting on top of. All right, that's deck 2. Deck 3 is this one over here. Make sure. Yep. Let me just move it over here so it's easier for me to visualize. Alright, so starting from the back, we're going to have a Stroud cargo hold. It's going to be a 2x3, if it'll let me grab it. It's going to go right there. Now, well, let me put the other side on first. Right in front of that, we're going to use a 2x3 Stroud mess hall. And then on top of, I think it was on the corner. Yeah. We're going to have 2 more of these Deimos Spine Cs 4s. I'm going to put the last of our guns up here. And then we can put our Fuser DC-403 reactor right there. And a Gamma, or a J51 Gamma grav drive on that side. And we could put another Taio end cap starboard, Taio end cap port. I guess that goes there, I think. We'll see in a minute. This is the Assurance, the SG 1800 shield generator. And then to keep the ladder going straight up from right there, we use another Stroud companionway 1x1. Now I was going to originally put 2 more habs here. And it works, but it screws up my the flow of the I mean, the ladder was still all the way up to the top, but you'd have to get to the cargo bay, you had to come into the mess hall, go into whatever hab you put over here, and go in this side, and then to get to the hab on this side, you had to walk all the way across the cargo hold into this hab, and then to get back up here, you had to walk all the way around in this way, and I just, like I said, I'm trying to keep it simple. Just when you come into any deck, you can just run straight down and back up, and you don't have to do any of this nonsense about, you know, looping around or whatever, like something, because like the ladder placement in this game sucks, or the door placement also sucks. So that is deck 3. Deck 4 is over here. We'll start off with, hang on a second, I screwed this up, didn't I? Alright, sorry, I'm back. Yeah, I figured out what I'm doing here. So this will look like, oops, take this off. Yeah, like that. that would be right there. Yep. Okay, so I see what I'm doing here. So the fuel tanks will be on the corners. Alright, so for fuel tanks, we're going to be using 2 of these 500T HE3 tanks. And then directly in front of them, we're going to be using a 2x1 Stroud Science Lab. On the other side, a Stroud Infirmary 2x1. And then the Stroud Computer Core 2x1. Right there. And then we used a Stroud Battle Bridge 2x2. Am I doing this wrong? Oh, it's up here. Yeah, like that. Just directly in front of the weapons. And then a Stroud Armory 2x1 right there. I don't even remember where that was supposed to go now. I guess it would be... I used a Stroud Nose Cap C. Another Stroud Nose Cap C. And then just so the cap that I ended up using on the end of the captain's quarters, so it would fit perfectly, I used a Hope Tech captain's quarters in the middle. And then I capped it off with this Hope Tech Nose B little structural piece. Yep. And then that's deck 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. Deck 5 is going to be a whole bunch of these Stroud Cowling 1 LAs. 2, 3, 4, 5 on each side. And it's going to be capped on either end by a Stroud Cap A. So we'll put these... Yeah, it goes like that. So Stroud Cap A will go right there. Yep. And then 5 of these Stroud Cowling 1 LAs. 2... Why are they so hard to grab? 2, 5. And then the last Stroud Cap A. And we're going to have this one pointing backwards and sloped inwards, like that. And then we're the same thing for the other side. It's just 1, 2 of these Stroud Cap A's, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these 1 LA's to finish off the sides. And I believe this was right there. This is a Galleon S203 cargo hold. And it doesn't matter how you stick it in there because it's going to be hidden. Whatever. Doesn't matter. And then the Assurance SG 1800 fits in this little hole right there just fine. Alright. Now on top, because the way I guess I could have used the ones with the side pieces here. Excuse me, it doesn't matter. But I used a Demo enhanced cockpit from Tayo. It goes right there. Directly behind it, a Tayo living quarters 2x1. Put that right there. I used the Tayo living quarters 2x1 again, top A right there. And then a Tayo engineering bay 3x1 right there. So this is the ship proper, mostly. All the hab spaces and everything are contained in this section of the ship. And then because you can kind of see like the guns here on the side or the fuel tanks, you know, you don't want to just have that stuff exposed. So I was always looking for ways to cover it up. We're going to use 1, 2, 3, 4 of these Deimos bumpers. And even though these look different, it's the same piece. They just have different configurations. It can be 2, the rear or the front. So we're going to use the front facing piece there, a mid piece here, and another mid piece bumper there. And then we're going to cap it off with the aft piece there, cover up the fuel tank. We're going to do the same thing with the other side. Front bumper Deimos there, mid bumper, aft. Alright. So now we have, I guess I'll put the chin on. And all the chin is just these Stroud cap A, 2 of them. Oops. And then yeah, the Stroud nose cap B. And just make sure it's flipped upside down. And I got the comp spike attached to the chin there. So those 3 pieces go together, and then they just slide right up under there, and that finishes off the nose cone of the ship. Now you can still see the reactor and the grav drive are exposed. So first we're going to put these wings on, or pontoons as I like to call them, because that's what they look like. So I wish these things would flip upside down, so you could, they go left or they go right, but you can't turn them upside down. So I have to use 3 pieces here, 3 of these Stroud Cowling 1LAs. Stick one of these Stroud Cowling 3LAs on the top. And originally I had 3 more pieces up here, but like I said, I hit the module limit, so I had to look for ways to decrease the amount of modules in the ship. You could actually, if you needed more modules, delete these 3 and stick 1 more up here, and then do the same thing on the other side, and that would free up 4 modules if you ever needed to do that. And we're just going to cap off the pontoons with these Taio braking engines on the front, and on the rear it's just a Taio cap port aft on the rear. And you'll see how, well, they just attach just like that. It's the same thing for the other side. It's this Stroud Cowling 3 LA, 3 of these 1 LAs stick together, Taio braking engine on the front, Taio cap on the rear. It goes just like that. Now you can hook up these 1, 2, 3, 4 of these Hope Tech thrusters. I don't know, I just like the way these things looked. I know they're thrusters, but they look more like guns to me, so I don't know. Now as you can see, this is where I had to resort to the flip glitch, because I was going to cap them off with these Taio end pieces. What are they called? Side caps. But because of the way that this piece right here on the, it just doesn't quite let it fit in there. But you can set it there, Z to flip it back, hit escape, and it stays. Same thing here. Let it connect, press Z, Z again, escape, and it works. Same thing on this side. Z, Z, escape. Z, Z, escape. And it should all fit in there. Yep. Now I got other motors. So we've got 6 of the SAL 6830s. You don't get these engines until you do the All the Money Can Buy quest from Stroud. And you have to do that Clayton, was it? I don't remember his name. It's that quest where you got to do the like stealth through the guy's office, and you can't kill anybody. So if you make it through the entire, well, like until you get to the outside, once you're up on the top of the station, you can kill all the guards up there, you know, no problem. But inside the actual building, you can't kill any of his guards. And then because you're, I guess, you know, you didn't just go in there and start blasting everybody. When you meet the other CEO Clayton, then he'll offer you a technology exchange, and this is what you get out of it, is these engines. So these engines are 2 power, which means you can have 6 of them total, and they have a crap ton of thrust, maneuvering thrust, and engine thrust. And you can get 6 of them on there, so they're by far the most powerful engines in this game. As far as thrust, I think there's some Class A engines and Class B engines. Obviously, they're going to be faster, but you know, as far as like hauling cargo and maneuvering, these are the best. And like I said, I use these cargo holds just to look like they're holding up the engines. You get some rigidity. But if you ever had to take these 3 pieces off because you needed more structural pieces, you could stick one of these right there, and it still works. You know, you could put maybe a Hope Tech thruster or something right there, but I was trying to keep it smooth as possible. So this is how I ended up doing it. So the ship was nominal. 6,260 cargo was the best I could squeeze out of it and keep 100 mobility. Jump range is 30, which is the max. Shield 1600, which is the max. If I go into the oops.
Sure, have at it.
Alright, so here we have the ship overview. I came up because I have the talents or the skills built up for the extra cargo, and I think I have Samco on board. I have 9,858 cargo buffed, and same with my shields. 2,560. I've got Omari on board, and fuel. I only have 420, which seems not like a lot, I guess, but I have the skills to boost that. I think it's 50%, and I can fly from one end of the settled systems to the other in a single jump, so there's no reason to go any higher for me on that. Excuse me. So you can see the guns fit in there nicely now that I used the little flip glitch. I did the same thing, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces that are flip glitched. So this is the first ship that I've ever made that uses flip glitches. I don't typically like to mess with that stuff, but yeah, whatever. All the ships online now are all modded anyways, so I guess I gotta slowly work my way up to where everybody else is at in the game. But it's got a nice flow to it. It looks like something that could sit in the water and float, which I like. And yeah, I thought it came out looking pretty sexy. Anyways, like I said, I call this the Canus Major. I still haven't renamed it. I guess I should do that. You know, this is a rebranding of my old Ursa Major. And yeah, I'll play with that later. But do I still have that ship? No, I guess I just rebuilt it off of that one. But anyways, like I said, this if you want a ship that does everything, it's got all the mods or all the habs in it. This is the ship for you, you know, or this is a ship that could be for you if you know if you feel like putting it together. It's a little like I said, complicated. It's large. I really think it's larger than most people would need, but some people really like the big ships. So I came out 1 mass under the, or 1 ton of mass under the max, which I'm happy with, because I like to get the mass as high as possible, cargo as high as possible, while maintaining 100 mobility. So that's always the balance that I'm going for on these ship builds. I don't skimp on the weapons, the shields, or anything like that. So let's take this thing for a spin. I don't even think, oops, I don't even think I can boost all the way up that high. Almost. I mean, nobody uses ladders, right? Everybody just boosts. So, what's this way?
Your ship is way bigger than Dad's.
No, it's this way. Getting lost in my own ship.
You have my attention.
Yeah, the way you handle things, not bad, not bad.
What the hell are you doing? I don't know why, but it bugs me that the controller is in my left hand. I'm right-handed. Well, I guess I got one in my right hand too. Ignore that.
Engines firing. Here we go. Stay in orbit or jump. Your call.
So it's a big ship, but it's still maneuverable. Like I said, I always strive to keep that uh, mobility as high as I can. Or it's always 100. I don't ever go below 100. You can see on my engine power and my shield power, the bottom tick is blue or like a greenish color. That means I have a person on board that's boosting that particular engine or that web system. So I got somebody boosting the engines and somebody boosting the shields. Let's go over to I don't know, where is the Serpentis? Let's go play with the boys from Varun. Oh, I gotta put a point in the grab, don't I? I gotta be honest, I don't even really play this game that much, other than the shipbuilder from time to time.
Yes, we're here.
I do like the shipbuilder though, it's a lot of fun. Alright.
Something you need?
You shall be judged. Are you prepared to face judgment?
And when you lose your lock, that means they're boosting away from you. See, I'm starting to get the lock back, that means you have to stop boosting.
Target's jump system down.
Shrouding is here.
They're not jumping out of here.
Combat in this game is, or space combat is super easy. Now they said that I'm probably gonna get blown up.
The great serpent demands blood. Are you prepared to face judgment?
You don't want to like fly head on with them without boosting. That's when you don't want to like just trade shots with them. So you always want to try to like, sneak in behind them. Oop.
And the grab drive is fried.
Some lithium, make some lithium-ion batteries. Anyways, like I said, if you want a ship that does everything, this will work for you. Let's see if I can get out of this asteroid field. It's definitely worth it. You don't want to be flying around in like the starter ship. It's impossible to like do anything in that thing. And any ship that you build is going to be better than like anything you can buy. The pre-built ships are all right, I guess, but they're not going to be like really, you know, something you will want to like be in the end game in. Go to photo mode. We'll just pan around and take a look at it in the sunlight here. I don't know, I think it looks pretty good. Extending out the wings made it look more of a traditional aerospace fighter instead of, it looked more like a submarine, I think, before. But I'm happy with the way it came out. lot of landing gears down there. I wanted to delete one, this one here in the center, and then put another 2x1 there, but deleting even one landing gear would make it so it wouldn't work. So I could have put a landing gear there, or maybe it was this one, on this side, in the corner. But I don't know, it just looked weird to me, like having one extra gear on the front that it's not on the other side, it's just on one side. Like I said, it worked, but I wasn't happy with the way that came out. But here she blows. I hope you guys like it. If you guys have any questions or comments or critiques, let me know in the chat below, and I'll see what we can do with it. All right, thanks.